Former President Trump, during his deposition over writer E. Jean Carroll's lawsuit, defended the comments he made on the infamous Access Hollywood tape that emerged ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Video of the deposition was shown to jurors earlier this week in the case stemming from Carroll's claim that Trump expletived her in the mid-1990s. The footage was revealed publicly Friday. The clip of Trump shows Carroll's lawyer questioning him about the tape from 2005 in which Trump discussed grabbing women without their consent. I just started kissing them. It's like a magnet, just kiss. I don't even want to read this. We all know the quote. Trump said after the video was released in October 2016 that he was not endorsing SA and was engaging in locker room talk. But Trump defended the validity of his remarks in his deposition for the Carroll case. Well, historically, that's true with stars, he said. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true, he continued. Not always, but largely true, unfortunately or fortunately. Carroll has sued Trump on accounts of SB, or S battery, and defamation. She alleges Trump defamed her through comments he made criticizing her physical appearance and calling her a liar over her allegations of R. Trump's legal team has said the former president will not testify in the case, but after Trump told reporters he would probably attend the trial, he was given 3 days to decide whether to testify. Closing arguments are tentatively scheduled for Monday. So I think Trump's a real idiot for these remarks, because if I were him and I had someone accusing me of SA or, R, again, try not to get demonetized here, and there was a tape of me saying what he said, I would say, listen, I was talking about groupies and people that I know and am familiar with because they go to my events. Because they already have you on tape saying, so you have to be able to word it in a certain way that makes it seem as if you're not doing this to random women. But he would say these are people I've met at different places that are okay with me touching them in that way based off of previous meetings that we've had. It's kind of, he could then equate it to probably, if you have like a friend or someone and you go up and give them a hug, you're more likely to just go up and give them a hug as that's someone that you have a pre-established relationship with, even if it's not a formal one of like, hey, this is my wife, girlfriend, whatever, versus a random person, which in that case, then it would be something that they could say they felt uncomfortable with. Anytime you touch somebody, you're opening yourself up to that. But he, when he talks about like the millions of, and historically, he really, like, that's why I said, it almost feels like this stuff is a parody of itself, because if I'm Trump and I define stars a certain way, and then I call myself, like, say stars can do this, I'm not going to call myself a star. I'm going to say I'm a well-known person, but I'm not someone with this kind of, notoriety to where I feel like I can do things like that. But he really described himself in the same way as the people that he says historically have been able to go up and touch women any way they want. God, it's like he's begging to go to jail, or to, at the very least, get some kind of further indictments or, conviction. Like, this is nuts. And the historically part, I'll dispute that in a heartbeat, because millions of, like he said, a million years, we don't know what happened that long ago. There's no data on it as far as, laws and that's something that you can't quantify. But if you're talking about like in the last couple of decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, I could say that you could make the argument that, okay, treatment of women was not as, I guess, strict as it is now. Maybe you could say that, and you could get people to just agree with the general consensus. But it's like, you made these comments in 2005, which was not 20 years ago. And actually, when they first came out, that was 11 years later. So his statements are still like showing that he believed this stuff in the modern era. Like, he's not saying this is how he acted, in the 70s, or like during some period where it was like considered not as bad. Even though I do because I said before, when that tape first came out, it's really crazy to take a tape that's that old and then like the month before the election, to have like, I said before, Access Hollywood was really dirty for doing that. But truthfully speaking, I believe Trump was just talking crap at the time. Like, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, whatever. I think a lot of voters did too that voted for him over Hillary. But the statements he's making here are idiotic. Like, why would you call yourself why would you admit stars do this and then call yourself a star? That's like you saying, I'm part of the same group that feels like they can just go up and touch somebody, whenever they want to. I don't know what is going through his mind. This is stupid. But anyway, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm glad they released the deposition so people can see it and make their own judgments. I don't like this little clip show stuff that people do, because I think when you put out the full thing, people are less likely to say, you have altered this to make him look bad. Because, his supporters will defend him on anything, including SA. But it's just kind of sad that this is one of the leading contenders for president. This is someone who has a solid, very, very good chance of being the Republican nominee, and a 50% chance of being the 47th president in the next election. Like, this is the person that could be calling the shots from the White House at the start of the year after next. And he says this type of stuff. And I mean, I just don't know, what is the appeal of him. But whatever, people, they've always been able to find ways to prop him up. But really what it is that I'm just saying, from the standpoint of someone who's not even a fan of his, if he were being smart, he would have phrased his answers differently. I think he still doesn't get that this is serious, and you've been indicted. You're the first former president ever to be indicted. And it's not like, oh, I'm retired. It doesn't matter one way or the other. I can go sit up in jail. I don't have any ambitions. He wants to be president again. And oh God, this is insane. This is a really wacky cycle with some weird stuff going on.